Hey y'all, thanks for joining me. I'm going to take you back to the spring of 2020 when we were just learning about this virus that had shown up earlier in the year, and we were then in the spring in a couple of weeks of lockdown at that time, trying to figure out about this supposed issue. Okay, so nobody really knew what was going on. So we were locked in our houses for a couple weeks, if I remember correctly. And it was around that time that I first saw Metropolitan Neophytos on YouTube, and I listened to his homilies, and because of all the uncertainty of what was going on and all the craziness, I found that the Metropolitan was like the North Star, as the North Star guided the Magi to Christ. I felt like he was kind of like a North Star for us, at least for me. I felt that way. And I know a lot of Orthodox did as well, that I knew, that he gave us comfort and he guided us through this difficult time, through hope, through letting us know what was going on and what to expect, and keeping close to our faith and what was to come. And so he was a comfort to a lot of people at that time, and he still is. He's like our grandfather, And so he was tested a lot, treated not nicely by some of the government officials then as well. And if you remember the past, he had some court cases, and so, but he seemed to have gotten through those okay. But now I have an update for you, and I'm going to go to that now. Metropolitan Neophytos of Morphu to face retrial over COVID-19 restrictions case. This came out March 31st, 2026. A Cypriot Court of Appeal has unanimously overturned an acquittal issued in favor of His Eminence Metropolitan Neophytos of Morphu and ordered a retrial before a different judge of the Nicosia District Court to be held as soon as possible. So they're looking to use a different judge. The case concerns events of January 2nd and 6th, 2021, when during the period of COVID-19 restrictions, Metropolitan Neophytos urged the faithful at two church services to proceed to the Cotus River for the theophany blessing of the waters. Hundreds gathered with him for the blessing. He was issued a fine on the day but refused to pay it. On April 4th, 2023, the Nicosia District Court acquitted him on all charges, ruling that his actions constituted the legally permitted exercise of religious worship, and specifically that his invitation to the faithful to attend the blessing did not amount to incitement to commit a criminal offense by participating in an unlawful public assembly. The Court of Appeal, accepting the arguments of the Attorney General in their entirety, found that the lower court had erred in characterizing the matter as protected religious practice. The appellate court noted that Metropolitan Neophytos' own words during his January 2 address clearly reflected his awareness that the action in question was not permitted and carried a penalty, and that his encouragement for no one to be absent was an evident inducement in the ordinary sense of the word, with no reference to compliance with the applicable laws or decrees. Given that the case involves matters of public health, the Court of Appeal held that the interests of justice require it to be retried. The case was handled on behalf of the Attorney General by Petros, I can't say his last name, Counsel of the Republic. This is not the first incident for which Metropolitan Neophytos has faced legal scrutiny in connection with COVID-19 measures. In 2020, police interrupted his Palm Sunday divine liturgy leading to an investigation. However, the Attorney General subsequently determined that he had not violated any quarantine measures by celebrating the service, and no charges were brought. At that time, there weren't very many clergy speaking out on this, so I found this really important when back in 2020, 2021, that there was a bishop speaking out about going to church, because as I've said, from my point of view, the church is needed the most in hard and difficult times, such as wars, diseases, natural disasters. The church is our haven, to run to, just like the monasteries. It's where we want to be. It's where we want to be, in God's house, when difficulties happen. So, as I said, Metropolitan Neophytos was a saving grace for me and many at that difficult time in our lives. I don't think this case sounds like a valid one, being unfair to him. So, and I'm not too surprised. We will see what happens with this case. I hope that he is okay and that nothing else happens with him. But, knowing him, I don't think he's too worried. He's a courageous bishop. So if you all wouldn't mind praying for him and praying for a good outcome for him, as he was as he still is, a wonderful guiding light to us, and spiritual leader to us. He always pointed out that we should be not afraid, that we should be praying and be in church, and to do that. And that's really how, as I said, it should be. So please pray for him, that this comes out okay. And thanks for watching.